Hello, and what up? Welcome to Hard and Hustle. I appreciate you for checking in. Today, I'm going to speak on a very serious issue, which is addiction and overcoming addiction. Um, I'm going to speak from the heart. Um, I'm going to try to be as transparent as possible, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to discuss um, discuss my addiction and what I did to overcome it, and the steps I I took on my journey of finding this sober life and the way I'm living now. Okay, so bear with me. Um, I was going to do it in the office. Been very busy today, but my son Kenzo was up and he's loud, so I'm going to do it in my vehicle, so I can have quiet and try to and just get this story out. Yesterday I posted a picture of myself in my addiction to my Facebook page, and I was going through my pictures and I seen it. And as soon as I seen the picture, it took me back to that particular moment, how I felt, how awful I was feeling inside, and how I felt lost and trapped all in one. And the people that have been in addiction, it's not a fun place to be. It feels like you're drowning while you're moving. It feels like you can't get out. In your mind, you wanna. You wanna try to escape the trap, but it's just like you're running in place. It's like you're running in. It's like you're just running in this slick and you can't get any grip. You know what I'm saying? You wanna change. You wanna do all these things. And I vividly remember the picture that I posted. I was with my mom, and she was at her mother-in-law's house, and they were having a party. And so, at the time, you know what I'm saying, I was lost, and my mom knew it. Everybody knew I was lost. I had a facade of me pretending that I'm doing okay, but everybody around me know I'm not doing okay, but I've convinced myself that I'm doing okay. And when I looked at that picture and how bad I looked and how awful I looked, it just took me back to that point, right? So let's get back to it. My mom had called me and it had invited me to, this get together, this party. So I didn't want to go. Now, I was very apprehensive of going, but my mom pleaded with me, so I went. And I know what my mom was trying to do. She was trying to help me by having me being around people that loved me. But I just probably got high, probably an hour before that. Or hell, I might have been high there. But I know when I went there, I felt so out of place. I felt like all the eyes of the party were on me. And that's how addiction have you when you in it. It feel like everybody is judging you. It feel like, it's so hard to describe, but it just feels like, I felt so uncomfortable. And when they took that picture of me, I remember I didn't want to take a picture, but my aunt Priscilla wanted to take a picture, and she took a picture. And I'll never forget it. But after that picture, I wanted to leave because I felt so uncomfortable. But my mom tried to get me to stay. But anyway, long story short is that memory is imprinted on me. And when I seen that picture, it just brung us feelings and stuff that I haven't felt in a very long time. But it took me to my addiction and how destructive it was and how lost and helpless I was. So I posted a picture of me now with a picture of me then, and it was humbling. It was very humbling, and it was very heartfelt, because the feelings I felt at that moment, right, and the pain I was in, and the shame I had, and all of those feelings, they came up yesterday, and I wanted to express that, and I wanted to convey that in my message, that even in your toughest times, right, even when you feel there is no hope, there's hope. And sometimes things will happen, or things have to happen in a way for you to find yourself. And I had to go through that to be where I'm at today. And in that picture, it's probably about 6 months before I got arrested. I want to say 6 or 7 months before I got arrested for the last time. But at that particular moment in my life, I was so lost. I mean, that year, which was 2008, going into 2009, that year, I probably got high out of 365 days. Well over 300 of them. And where I was at as a person, and how I've always carried myself, I used to couldn't look at myself in the mirror. And I just remember not wanting to go anywhere, not wanting to hang around anybody, because I didn't want anybody to see me that way. So I've decided to speak on how I overcome addiction, and where I'm at today, and the steps I've taken, and the journey I've been on. And hopefully it can help someone in their time of need, or who's going through that right now. So I'm just going to give a brief history of my life, and how destructive drugs and a certain type of lifestyle was to me. And hopefully it can help someone. All right. This is very challenging, because to lay out your life and your flaws and your bad decisions, takes a lot. It takes a lot. And knowing all the people you've hurt in your life, and you've disappointed in your life, and let down your mom and your brothers and your family and your children and friends and people that care about you, and the Coach Shermans of the world who try to save you, and the Cool Macs, and all the people that try to help you. And you have to live with that, because people sometimes see in you what you don't see in yourself, right? People see potential in you, and what you can give to the world. And sometimes you can't see it, and sometimes you're dealing with things and you can't see it. And it takes a lot to be able to get over the shame and the hurt and the embarrassment. So I'm going to take it back. I think the first time I ever done drugs, I think I was 17 or 18, maybe 18, 19, tried drugs. And prior to that, I was adamant. I was against all of that. You know, I've always been a scholar. I've always loved to read and learn and stuff. So I was always, and I was a decent athlete, good athlete. And I always was into sports, right? But I had so much anger in me due to my relationships with my real father and my stepfather, right? And I displayed that in anger. And I didn't know how to channel that. And I channeled it through sports. But my anger, my stubbornness, right? It was just all consuming all the time. But anyway, I think the first time I tried drugs, I was 17 or 18. And I did it in an environment with just hanging around people. And I won't get into the detail of it. But from that point, from when I was 17, my life spiraled out of control. I think within those, and that's from me getting in a wreck, and I got in a car wreck in '93, and I was a junior, and then from that point, everything went downhill. When I got in a wreck, I didn't go back to, I was homeschooled by Miss Blasberg, teacher. And from that point, I had so much free time and everybody was coming to see me because I was really hurt. I started, in my free time, I just started hanging out, and I started hanging around and I was already kind of hanging around the wrong crowd, but I started hanging around, not the wrong crowd, just my community, but I was in bad situations, not bad people, bad situations, right? And you become a product of your environment. So from 17, you know, my life spiraled out of control. Within 6 months of me quitting school, in 6 months I was arrested. And from that point, my life just spiraled out of control. That, you know, I left school, and I was a decent tailback, and I just was lost. So from 17 on, I was arrested multiple times. I started selling drugs, and I started, you know what I mean, doing the things that I've always been against and that are not me and what I stand for. And I did that, and you know what I'm saying, in multiple arrests, and being incarcerated multiple times, and just destroying my life to point where I was lost. And I would have streaks of getting together and streaks of trying to put my life together, that I would do right for a while, but I always reverted back to that lifestyle. And from when I was 17 till I was 33, 17 to 33, 16 years, I was in and out of jail. I was doing drugs. I was in and out. I was just in and out of my children's life. You know, nothing stable. You know, always just not getting together. And I hurt a lot of people. I know I hurt my mom, and I hurt my kids, and I hurt my brothers. And friends that I lost. But at the end of that journey, I was totally lost. I was so close of dying. And I'm not talking about like dying, like, and possibly could have died that way, but I'm talking about losing myself forever. You know, I was getting high all the time. I was gone. I wanted to change, but I couldn't. And I knew everybody could see it. And the shame of that, and the pain of that was unbearable. And where I had took myself, and that's what addiction does. It takes you, it puts you in a place that you would never see yourself. And if you ever seen the movie Get Out, you know when he go in the sunken place, when he falls into the sunken place, that's how addiction is. Once you start falling in the sunken place, once you start falling in the abyss, it seems like you can't breathe, you can't do anything. You're just consumed by a need, a feeling, a want of just getting high. And I seen my life just deteriorate from the person I was and how I carried myself, as far as appearance, how I dressed, who I hung around, all of these things you slowly see. You don't see in the beginning, but they slowly just dissipate. They disappear. And at the end, you see who you are. And I was gone. I was lost. And I was so ashamed of myself and what I had become. And that pain sometimes, and when we hurt, and if we can't deal with that hurt, what we do, we medicate. And when we can't deal with pain, and we can't deal, and we don't know how to process it, right? We medicate. We try to numb it. And that's all I tried to do. And I just lost. So I was at the end. I know I left a lot of it out, but for 16 years I was in this cycle, in and out of jail, in and out of my children's life, making promises, in and out of relationships, in and out of jobs, hustling, you know what I mean, living a lifestyle that's not conducive of being successful and being a person that brings change, right? And it always gnawed at my soul, because I know what I was made of. And it took an intervention to help me. It took me being snatched away from that. And how I was snatched away on, I never forget the date. It was May the 28th, 2009, about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I knock on the door, and I open the door, and the police had my whole trailer surrounded. And I knew when I opened that door and I seen the police officers, the detectives at my front door, and they had a search warrant to come into my trailer and search the whole house. I knew from that moment, when I opened that door, it felt like a weight was off my shoulders, right? It's one of the hardest things to try to explain. I knew that life was over. I knew it was done, right? Now, I didn't know how long I was going to be incarcerated. I didn't know if I was going to be going for 10 years, because I've been in my 16 years of addiction, which started practically when I was 17, 18 years old, till I was 33. That's when I got arrested. Going on 34. From that point, I had been arrested probably 15 to 20 times. Avoided prison all of those times. Did a lot of time in the county. But I knew from right then, right? I knew in my spirit that was it. This is my epiphany. This is my intervention. And how I knew that was, by the time they searched my trailer and when I came out the door, my mom, when they had me in handcuffs, and when I came out the door, my mom was there. And she was crying. She was crying. I mean, I'll never forget it. She had tears running down her face. But I wasn't crying. It was one of the most surreal feelings I've had in my life, because I was at peace. It was so long since I've been at peace. And she was crying and she was so hurt. And I remember when I told her, they was getting ready to put me in the car, and she just had tears running down her face. I said, baby was going to jail, and she told me, I told her, Mom, it's going to be okay. I'm going to be all right. And I meant it. And I didn't care how long it took me. Excuse me. That touched a nerve, but I didn't care how long it took me. How long it was going to take. From that point forward, I would never disappoint my mom again. Ever. First time I talked about it, because the pain I've seen on her face, the agony she was in. It touched my soul and it ripped my heart out. So what I did was, I'll never forget it. I was in a police car, headed to Bushnell. And on the way to the county jail, I said to I'll never forget the conversation I had with myself. And I said, Kelly, you're better than this. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it will be, you will never be in this situation again. And that was the start of the process of me overcoming addiction. And I went to jail, and while I was in jail, I did some reflection, some self-reflection, and I was honest with myself and how much of a failure I had been. And I'm gonna keep it 100 and real and transparent. What I did was, I think every person that I had hurt that I could imagine, I wrote them all a letter and apologized for me letting them down. I did it for my mom. I wrote a letter to my stepdad. I wrote a letter to my children's moms. I think my brothers. And I even wrote a couple to some friends that I let down. And that was the process. That was the start of me overcoming my addiction and me to become a better person. And how I did that was, excuse me, sorry, that touched my core, was, and everybody's own different, but I'm gonna speak on what I did. I started, the first thing you must do is accept that you have a problem and acknowledge that you are what you are. Addict, alcoholic, sex addict, whatever it is. And I was a couple of those things. And I made a decision that I have to find myself. And nobody can find you. You have to find you. And I just started consuming information like self-help books, and I was always reading. And I'm not a religious person. I'm not affiliated with any religion, but I'm a very spiritual person. So I started reading religious material. Like I read the Quran, I read the Bible, I read multiple religious books, and I just started consuming self-help books and stuff like that. And I just started exercising, and I didn't want to be that. So I stayed to myself, and I just read, and I started working out, and I just started hanging around people that I wanted to, even in there, that were trying to change and trying to do better. And I just stayed to myself, and I just concentrated on me, and I worked on myself, and I focused on being a better person. I didn't point the finger at anybody. I didn't make any excuses for me being, and I ended up going, I ended up staying, I had to go to prison. And I had to do 5 years, which is 51 months, which is like 1,300 something days. And it was the most challenging experience of my life, and it was the most rewarding experience of my life, because I found myself. I used my time. I didn't waste any time. I used my time in a constructive way to make me a better person. And I got in touch with who I am and what I'm about and what I'm truly about. And my whole life, since I can remember, people have always seen in me, I've always heard people talk about my potential and things like that, and how I am. But I never felt it. It's kind of hard to explain, and never believed it. And I had to find a way to believe in Kelly, right? And I did that. And it was hard, and it was challenging, and it was a lot of crying. It was a lot of why me. And the 5 years were hard. I'm gonna get me, I mean, they were hard, but they were necessary, and they helped me find myself. And I wouldn't change, and I can't change it, but the experiences I've been through have made me the person I am today. And today, It's been 11 years, 5 incarcerated, and almost seven since I've been home. And I've been sober. And my life has changed. And who I am today, I'm a man of integrity. I'm a man of honesty. I'm a man of my word. And I'm here to serve. I'm here to help. I'm here to inspire. And it took me a long way to get here. And I'm sorry, this testimony and this talk is long, but it's who I am, it's what I am, and I'm okay today with being me, and I'm not ashamed anymore, and nobody can't shame me anymore. Nobody can't. I don't give anybody that power. I believe in me, and I don't have everything, and I'm not here to brag on anything I have, because I don't have anything, but I have my word and I have my truth, and hopefully it can help someone. And sometimes, and we waste talents, right? We waste opportunities, and we waste you know what I mean? We waste the opportunities and the doors that we can go through. And I've done that multiple times. But don't let that deter you from finding yourself. And I still have pain. As you can see, I got emotional a couple of times, right? And now when I get mad and when I get angry or I'm hurting, I don't medicate it anymore. I use that pain, I use that hurt for energy and fuel to let it feed me and consume me and help me and motivate me and mold me to be what I'm supposed to be, right? So in closing, how I overcame addiction was I acknowledged that I had a problem. I acknowledged that I was the reason for my problem. I didn't make any excuses or lay the blame on anybody else. I took on the responsibility of the bad decisions and the mistakes that I've made in my life, and I wanted to make a change. That's the first thing you must do. The second thing you must do is, what I did was, you must consume positive energy and good information. You must surround yourself with people that inspire you and you aspire to be. People that inspire you and you aspire to be. People that are levels ahead of you, so it gives you something to go for. And you must work on your body and your mind. You must reprogram yourself, because when you're in addiction, you create some really destructive bad habits that are so damaging to you, your psyche, your emotions, everything. And then you're going to have to rebuild your foundation. And most of all, believe in yourself and love yourself, and know that you are worthy of love and respect and honor. And fight for yourself, because if you don't fight for yourself, nobody will. And that's how I overcame addiction. It was challenging, it was hard, but I made a decision that I wanted better, and I was tired of living that way, and I was tired of feeling that way. And I just had an epiphany. And my story is different. I had to be snatched out of that, and for me to change. And some people, and maybe if I wasn't snatched out of that, I probably wouldn't have changed. But I did change, and I have peace, and I have a family, and I have my dignity, and I have my honor, and I have my word. And that's the most important things. And love. And if you get to the end of this video, I believe in you. I believe in you. If you're struggling, I've been there. And you can find me on Facebook, Kelly Hart. You can find me, and you can leave a comment on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram as Kelly Hart, Kelly Anthony Hart. Come find me. I'm willing to help. I'm here to help, and I'm here to be a part of the solution. And with that, that's it, man. I said I wasn't gonna script it. I wasn't gonna use no script. I was just gonna come off the dome from the heart, and hopefully it resonates with someone, and hopefully it helps someone, and hopefully you take the necessary steps to get your life back on track, because I'm never going back that way. I am a leader. I am going to help be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. And with that, have a good one. See you.